Today we're going to be driving from Boston to Chicago. And when I say today, I mean the next 3 days, because we've got 2 kids. We want to see Niagara Falls, and there's a really cool city in between Niagara and Chicago that we think would be worth staying in. Alright, so we just passed the sign that said we're at 1,794 feet. This is probably the highest elevation we're going to be at for the whole trip. The Midwest, go figure, is a bit flat, and we're sort of coming out of the mountains here. But yeah, like driving through the mountains, it is very picturesque. You see like nice little snow clothing on the ground, and it's really cool. It feels like a truly like New England winter setting. Yeah, it's good that we get this. And luckily there's no snow expected for the next couple of days. Fingers crossed we shouldn't run into anything too bad. We're just going to be driving up. We're going to see Niagara Falls. It would be really cool if the falls were frozen, but I don't think we're going to get that lucky on this trip. It's a beautiful, beautiful setting. You've got these cliffs. Not tall, but maybe we're talking like 20-30 foot cliffs right on either side of the highway. And right running down those cliffs, you've got this water that's just frozen. It gives it a very wintry, sort of like Wonderland type feel to it. Just the water frozen in the rocks. There's a few right here as we're driving by. It's the perfect New England setting. Here we go. We got some coming up right here. I'm gonna flip the camera. We're in New York. We just passed through the Berkshires. Now we're in New York. Is New York part of the Berkshires in New York? I don't know. We're in New York now. We passed the sign that said the Berkshires were there too, but we drove a little bit more. Now we're in New York. I'm not sure if the Berkshires or Berkshires, whatever they are in New York, or if they're in Massachusetts. But yeah, it's beautiful cap mountains, snow caps, still a lot of snow, and just like it feels very peaceful, very like relaxed, very sort of country. Yeah, it's nice. And yeah, now we're in New York, the Empire State. And this time we're not going to be seeing New York City. We're still headed to Niagara. So we're probably going to pass through Albany. And we're also probably going to go near Buffalo. I'm not sure if we're going to see either of those cities. Like, we went through Springfield, Massachusetts, and there was just like no sign of Springfield. So let's see if it happens with Albany and Buffalo. Yeah, we should. Alright, so we are in Albany and we're pulling off for a little bit. We saw sort of a strip mall type area. It's got TJ Maxx, it's got a Walmart, it's got PetSmart, it's got a bunch of places that you can sort of see. So we're going to stop here, grab a few things that we need, grab some stuff to eat, maybe check out TJ Maxx for some deals, and then we'll be right back on the road. This is probably going to be like a 30-minute, 1-hour intermission. So it looks like we're probably going to be getting into the hotel around like 10:30, 10:40. So we're in upstate New York right now. You can see the snow's actually gotten a little bit deeper. You're talking maybe like 2 inches of snow here. It's not snowing right now, but we've seen a lot of snow plows on the road. They're salting it. They're actually sort of like trying to make sure things don't freeze over. Not too worried unless it does start snowing, in which case... It's 1 a.m., but we made it for the farthest part of our trip, or the longest part of our trip as far as drives go. 7 hours. We made it from Boston to Niagara Falls. Even during the day, it's a bit cold out here. I think it's running 28, probably like -2, -3 Celsius. We got a little bit of time to spend in Niagara Falls. We're gonna go for a swim, and then we'll probably see the falls and be headed to Windsor. welcome to Niagara Falls. Look at all that water. I haven't seen it in the winter, and it's cool to see because it's just like so much water. You got some frozen ice there, rocks jutting out. It is beautiful. You've even got a little rainbow going on. Look at this. All right, so cool thing with Niagara Falls, you can actually find parking. Like we found it just right over here. Public parking seems pretty open right now because it's winter. And, to try and describe the beauty of Niagara Falls is to fail. I could tell you 6 million cubic feet of water go over the crest line every minute, but that wouldn't mean much to you. All I know is it's a lot of water and it is really damn beautiful. So yeah, Niagara Falls, pretty cool. And I definitely recommend the Canadian side. If I have to say, it's better. So that was Niagara Falls. It was really beautiful. We've been here in the summer and the winter. Honestly, if you're looking for like the best shot, the most beautiful view, definitely from Canada. But like in the winter, it looks a lot better. I know it's like colder. It's just like it could snow. Like there's a lot more that can go wrong with the trip. But if you want the absolute best view of Niagara Falls, I think you've got to come in the winter. Like the white, the foam off the water, the falls, like it just all works together to make something really, really beautiful. And I don't feel like you quite get that in the summer. The summer you can do boat tours and everything like that, so that's obviously nice, but if you just want to see the falls and you just want the best view, I think you got to do it in the winter. One thing about the area over like Niagara Falls, Canada, it's interesting because you got all these big buildings, this tourist trap. It feels almost built up like Times Square. You got all these people walking around. You go a few blocks back and all of a sudden you're just in like houses and like a very residential area. It feels like any sort of suburban area, not like high suburban, like built up suburban. It feels like sort of just a, you know, a classic suburb. So it's interesting that you have such a juxtaposition, maybe like within a block or two. It's not something you see too often. You don't think? Welcome to Windsor. That's Detroit, by the way. Last day of the trip, we're currently in Windsor. So yeah, we came into Windsor last night, parked at Caesar's Palace, stayed in the room for the night, and then out and about in the city. We're gonna try and pick up some Tim Hortons, and we're crossing the border and heading over to Chicago. Windsor doesn't really look that bad of a city. Like they've got this main downtown strip that we're on right now. It looks pretty quaint. It's called, what is this, Coletta Street? Uleta, I think it is, Uleta Avenue. So yeah, it looks pretty nice. Like it's got a nice little downtown feel, and going down the avenue you can see Detroit right across the river. At night it looked beautiful, but during the day it looks even better. But, yeah, it's time to head to Tim Hortons and then head back stateside. Tim Hortons is delicious as always, but I will say one thing. I thought it was better in Montreal. It could just be my memories off, but more options there, and the donuts tasted a little bit better. I don't know if anyone's watching this and knows better, but let me know what I did wrong. Did I go to the wrong Tim Hortons? I went to 2 in Canada, and it was good. It was good. Like, got the chocolate donut, I got the Dutchie, got some good options, but it was better in Montreal, man. This I did have to share. This cookie right here. Look at this. It's got that like gooey chocolate center. It's from Tim Hortons, right? Gooey chocolate center. Delicious. So maybe the donuts weren't as good, but cookies. I like how Caesars lines up like right down the middle. We are back in the US of A. So yeah, we're driving right by Detroit right now, so I don't know if you can see it. We're gonna be going sort of around that bend that is Lake Michigan up through Chicago. We're gonna be going sort of around that bend that is Lake Michigan up through Chicago, and then we're done. So yeah, the end of a nice little 3-day journey. We got to see some cool stuff, and yeah, hopefully this will be nice another couple hours, and then we'll be done.
As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure.